And before you teach anything, make sure you have a good deal of knowledge of that particular subject. Before teaching, you have to learn a lot. I think this is the beauty of teaching. I always learn a lot. I'm always on the learning mode. And I also make sure I allow my students to speak more and more. I do not speak much because I know what my level is. Here, I want my students to speak much. So these are things you need to have in mind.
Okay. Yeah. So one more question,
Mhm.
which you forgot to answer.
One more, I think how to be a teacher.
Yeah. I mean, how to start properly, and I mean, what are the thing you have to look for? Like, I guess you
Mm,
said that.
Okay. So if I have missed anything, I'm going to rephrase my sentences. That in order to teach, make sure you have a room. You
Okay.
have the right intention. Okay. I'm going to be very honest with my work. And you have to worship your profession. If you do not worship it, you are not going to improve or you are not going to be successful in that. So you need to have a board and you need to have a couple of students. When you have them, make sure every day you are teaching them something new and they always find your classes enthralling. If they find your classes enthralling, that they would like to come to you, they would like to spend some time with you. What you can do is, what my intention is, I make sure that I introduce my students to some new words. I always give them two or three new words which they might not have heard of. Whenever I introduce these words to them, they are always on the top of the world and they feel they are learning something, because whenever you teach, make sure your students are learning something from you. And while teaching, you also need to have a good deal of confidence. If you are confident, you can teach confidently, but if you don't have the confidence, that your students might not feel like taking classes from you.
Okay, so if you're a new teacher and you're
Hmm,
willing to just teach student, okay, and
hmm,
like let's suppose today is your first day, okay,
hmm, hmm,
and you got like students and you're gonna teach. So
hmm.
what would be the first thing which you are going to tell them?
Okay. First, I would like to motivate them. I would introduce myself that I am this, I am Sunil, and at one point in my life, I was not able to learn this language. I could not comprehend anything, but now I am at level where I can speak, even I'm teaching people. If Sunil can do, anyone can do. First, you need to motivate your students. And the second important thing is that you need to let them know the importance of English. After learning English, where they can go, what they can do. They can become YouTubers, they can work in multinational companies, they can become travelers, they can do anything, they can go abroad. Or there are so many things. When you know English, or they can also become teachers. So when you learn English, you come up with abundant opportunities. So these are things I would start if it is my first class.
Mhm. Okay, so let me just tell you, I mean, summarize you what you spoke. That
Yeah,
first
sure.
you have to describe yourself, okay,
Hmm,
being a teacher in front of your student, and then
hmm.
second you have to tell them what is the importance of English, why
Right,
you should learn English,
right,
right? That's how you can go in teaching people in your
right.
first of your class, right?
Hmm.
And what about the sentences? I mean, when you go feel like
Hmm,
little bit more, so what about like, are you going to teach like sentences in your first
hmm.
class or what?
Yes,
Or you will
in my first class, I usually give demos. Or in my first demo, I make sure I'm going to understand the person, why he wants to learn. And there are so many reasons to learn this language. If you are a working professional, you get the different ambience. If you are a student, you have different people to interact with. If you are a housewife, then you have different purposes to learn this language. First, I need to know the purpose, that why you want to learn this language. When I get to know, then according to it, I teach my students. Second thing, I make sure that I usually start teaching with tenses, because tenses are paramount. If you have deep knowledge of tenses, because this is what we use in our all conversations, we always use present simple tense or past simple tense. These two tenses are used everywhere. You will be playing with these tenses. They can also, you do sometimes you don't need to use active voice, passive voice. Sometimes models will not be very important, but these tenses will explain everything.
Okay, okay. So you mean that tenses are really necessary, right? At the
Yes,
beginning.
absolutely. Being a teacher, I always accentuate on grammar. That I make
Mhm.
sure my students take care of grammar a bit, and then they can go for speaking. This is my style of teaching.
Okay, so you are talking about some basic grammar, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, first you should learn all the rules of grammar and then you can jump into conversation. Nothing like that.
Yes, it when it comes to me, I make sure that my students know all the rules of some tenses. I never ever teach all tenses because I know that they will not be used anywhere, and there is no point in learning all the tenses. When it comes to spoken English, there are, as I said, there are very few tenses that you should always bear in mind. Second thing is that you need to know all verb forms. There are some irregular verbs. If you know them, you are going to speak confidently. This is one thing. Second, you need to know some vocabulary. Vocabulary, I think, always build your confidence. When you know when your vocabulary is very strong. So if I'm going to talk to Pushpa, if Pushpa is going to use any word, I should know the meaning of that, because a word might put you in a situation or might put you in a jeopardy that you will not be able to understand. Okay, what was the meaning of that question? If it is like that, so make sure you know most of the words. And when your vocabulary part is very good, you already have that confidence. Just give me the chance, I can talk to anyone. So that's how you need to work on. And after grammar, I make sure they go for speaking a bit. Sometimes I give them very easy topics, like talk about yourself, talk about your likes and dislikes, or in your spare time what you do, how was your past, what did you do yesterday, like that. Very, and I tell them to form simple and basic sentences.
Okay, okay, I got it, I got it. So, like, as I have already like talked to you two times, right?
Hmm.
Two times. So you
Right.
might have observed my way of speaking, my
Hmm.
fluency, and many people say to me that you
Hmm.
make mistakes when you try to speak flawlessly. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you should try to reduce your fluency so
Hmm.
that you will be able to construct better sentences just to
Hmm.
convey your message. Sometimes you make mistake just because
Hmm.
of this, because you are fluent. So what do you think about me that I mean I make mistake that I know. So just because of my fluency, or it just I need to reduce my fluency to make
No,
good sentences.
first you need to know that where you are going to use it. And
Mhm.
I would suggest you that you should always try speaking slowly. If you speak slowly, then you have so many things very clear with you. You get to know, okay, what Pushpa is going to speak next. If you speak slow, other people who are listening to you, they are going to enjoy that conversation, and your conversation is going to be intriguing. It depends, because sometimes what we do is we only think of ourselves. But when you use English, when you want to be an ace speaker of English, make sure you speak slowly so that a person can learn a lot from you and can understand you thoroughly. Because English is all, this language is all about understanding. If you are not able to understand, how would you speak, or how would you ask anything? So try to speak. And I would say that you are already speaking very well. I have not found many things, because mistakes are the true part of everyone's journey. If we do not make mistakes, we are not going to learn. So if you want to learn more and more, just try new things. And when you try new things, you will feel fish, like you are going to feel like a fish out of water. And when you do that, you would certainly make some mistakes. So you
Mhm.
are doing very well. Keep on doing that. And as you initially said, when you make mistakes, you have self realization, and oh, that here I made a mistake. So when you know that, then if you have made any mistakes, if you found, next time make sure if you talk to anyone, you will not have those mistakes in your conversation.
Okay. So one more question, and this would be
Yes.
our next one, like
Yes, sure.
question. So
Hmm.
what do you think about shadowing technique? Can you tell me
Pardon?
a little bit?
Shadowing
Shadow.
technique.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it really works. And as we have multiple ways to improve this language, it varies people to people what they are very much interested in. When it comes to me, yes, I try shadowing technique a little bit. What I understand by shadowing technique is whatever you watch to imitate it or to speak the same way that person is speaking. This is what I, and yes, my style, and I'm soon going to make a video on it. What I
Mm-hmm.
do is whenever I watch any English videos, I make sure I watch them with subtitle. And it is apparent
Okay.
whenever you watch any, honestly speaking, whatever video I'm going to watch, whether I'm going to watch that video repeatedly, I make sure I watch them with subtitles.
But why? Because you
It,
already know that what are they speaking. So
hmm,
why do you use subtitle?
let me tell you this why I watch it. There are a variety of reasons to watch English videos with subtitles. I usually like watching videos of people who are those who are eloquent speakers of English. Like I love watching Shashi Tharoor's video. I
Okay.
sometimes I like to watch Kapil Sibbal's videos, and these days I have found his videos intriguing. I like to watch his videos, Karan Johar's videos, Sadhguru's videos, and many more. When I watch their videos, every time I find something new, which I have never ever heard of before, and which I'm really not mindful of. When I watch their videos, then without subtitles, I don't feel I would be able to comprehend anything. That's why I need it. Yes. And the second important thing is that whenever I find any new sentence structure, I make sure I pause that video and I write it in my diary or in my copies. And after watching it, what I do, I have that structure with me. Like last time there was one sentence structure, that is, yes, my primary concern is, so this was
Okay.
the line, this was the structure of that sentence I wrote, and I'm going to use it. Sometimes I'm not able to use it in the right way, but when that person used it, I got an idea, and that's how I improve. There's so many ways I apply in my life.
Okay. So that's how. So I mean, like we should imitate as well, right? Like you didn't tell me about the imitation. Like I mean, should we imitate?
Okay, so what you can do is you should not imitate people blindly. There are
Mm,
ways to pronounce words. For that, you must learn phonetic. We have phonetic in English, like sounds, how we pronounce B, C, all these words. When you get the precise way of pronouncing, then you don't need to copy anyone. You need to have natural sounds. I also teach sounds a little bit so that I know how I need to pronounce this word. And always take help from dictionaries, always take help from Google. When you take help, then you will get to know. Please do not, you can bring that modulation in your voice, you can change your tone, but
mm,
copying somebody thoroughly or 120%, that will not work. Because Pushpa should have uniqueness in her. When Pushpa speaks, people should follow her, and people should not say, okay, you are speaking like that particular person. You should have
mm.
your own authenticity in that.
Okay, okay, okay. So like as you told me that imitation should be there, but not in that level, so that you just forget yourself, your original
Hmm.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
your
You.
originality should be there. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, while imitating, we are able to construct the sentences. We are able
Hmm.
to know anything, and it
Hmm.
just like goes to our mind. And whenever we speak, it just comes suddenly because we have already imitated a lot.
Hmm.
So like that really effective while imitating.
Hmm. It does. And Pushpa, time is something that is going to teach you so many things. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have patience, and you have to give a good deal of time to this particular language. I guarantee that, as you said, that you have reached a level where you can sense, okay, what is right, what is wrong. Again, you are going to reach a level where you are going to have the right pronunciation for yourself, but I think you have not focused on it. Once you start focusing on pronunciation, you will become the master of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
Mm.
So today I learned a lot from you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yeah. So thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube channel. You're gonna be through this
Mm.
video. I hope we
Same.
will meet.
Yes, sure. Same. I would say that I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to talk to you, and I really enjoyed. There are some co-learners, when I talk to them, sometimes half-heartedly I have to talk to them. But when the way you spoke, I really enjoyed. I also learned so many things, and hope
And
to see you in the future.
sorry for like inconvenient, because I mean gave you so many questions and you were the
No
only
problem.
one who have been speaking for 30 minutes. So I just
No, no problem. All right. Okay.
okay. So
Take
yeah,
care.
see you. Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Bye. Bye.